So this actually is an interesting thing, the new portfolio chapter. Portfolio concepts has been relatively old one, not much of a formula there. The old one that the portfolio variance is weight square into standard deviation plus weight 2 into plus 2w and so on. So those things have been similar. The capital allocation line, the portfolio represent combination of risk-free assets and tangency. The capital market line, the tangency point is market portfolio of risky assets. This implies that CML for portfolio choice is only investor whatever risk can satisfy investors using risk-free asset and a single risky portfolio, which is the market risk portfolio. The assumption is CAPM. The CAPM equation describes expected return on an asset. So expected return is equal to F. The beta is equal to covariance between return of and return of market into standard deviation square of the market. Now the market decision rules state investor should prefer investment to investors higher than investment with no more risk. According to market model, what is market model? So market model explains the return of risky asset as a regression return of the market. So variance of R is equal to beta square beta I square standard deviation square of market plus an error standard deviation of error, or covariance of R is beta I, or two stocks, so covariance is beta I, beta change to standard deviation square of the market, and covariance of correlation of two stock would be the standard deviation. So you need to represent that by beta I square minus I square. Then you have adjustment of beta. Then you have many multi-factor model that are often used. So continuing with the topic, so the correlation, as I told you, it's a correlation can be converted from covariance formula, which is beta I beta j into standard deviation of market. Then you have a multi-factor model. Multi-factor model describes the return in terms of risk of the asset and respect sector. Such model generally includes systematic factor which explains the average return of large number of risky assets. Such factor are price, risk investor, which investor require additional for varying. Multi-factor model categorized as macroeconomic, fundamental, statistical. So there are three. Macroeconomic model, the factors are surprise in economic variable that significantly explain equity return. Surprise is defined as actual minus expected value. In fundamental, attributes stock or companies that are important, cross-sectional stock price among fundamental, book to price value, market price to earnings. So those are fundamental. In statistical, historical return to determine in statistical factor model, historical return covariance. The principal component of factor explain reproduce the historical return variances. Arbitrage pricing theory describe expected asset as a linear function of risk of the asset respective to such factor. Like CBM, APT describe financial market risk, but APT takes loss and assumption. The major assumption of APT are as follows. Asset return are described by factor model. So like we have multi-factor model that we are talking about, in which factors are surprises as an expected return. In contrast to macroeconomic factor model, fundamental model are stated as return rather than surprises. The fundamental model, we generally specify the factor sensitivities first and then estimate factor through regression, in contrast to macro where we first develop surprise and then estimate through regression. The factor of most fundamental model will be classified as fundamental factor, company shared factor, macroeconomic factor. Active return is the return in excess of return of the benchmark. Active risk is the standard deviation of active returns. Formation ratio is the active risk divided by active return. J's marginal contribution is this. So a factor portfolio is a portfolio with unit sensitivity to unit center factor and a zero center factor to other factor. A tracking portfolio is a portfolio with factor sensitivities with those of benchmark portfolio. Factor and tracking portfolio can be constructed using many assets using certain portfolio. Multi-factor model permits nuanced view of risk with contrast single factor. From a CAPM perspective, investors should allocate their money between risky asset and broad index fund. With multiple sources of systematic risk, when investment factor is exposed to other income risk, differ average investor. When I look at the questions that are given, the most important one is the equally weighted portfolio, where standard deviation of portfolio is sigma square, which is outside, into 1 minus p upon n plus p. So 625 into 1 minus 0.3 upon 100 plus 0.3. So that's how you look at that. n is the number of portfolio and you can count on that. So that's how you look at that. Then you have covariance R1 R2. The other formula that you might just use is the Sharpe ratio and creating that. So those are the things that you can expect. I'm looking at portfolio residual risk chapter. Residual risk chapter is chapter 2. After that, it's a fundamental law of active management, investment style test, and so on. Uh, Not many questions expected, but yeah, there are some questions in which how you manage a portfolio in passive investment, and so on. So uh, the only numerical that you can get in the residual risk is the one, the type of that given to you. To understand the story, let's understand how this all started. So in the very starting, we were looking at information ratio. We defined alpha, we defined ex post information, a measure of achievement, ex ante is measure of opportunity. So information ratio was alpha upon omega p, information ratio was max IPR upon p. Then we looked at residual frontier, where alpha and omega, and we have different residual frontier where information ratio equal to 1. A good manager information 0.5, very good manager information, and exceptional manager information ratio of 1. So those are the thing that we are looking for, which means that they can give better return. So alpha p is equal to omega. Now variance in p is equal to alpha p minus lambda r omega p square. So lambda r is the measure of risk and omega p is the variance of residual risk. So loss in A is equal to and alpha omega. So as you omega increases, the loss increases. So we are looking at that. Now preference meet opportunities. So lambda r equal to 1, and as this increases, it's the risk aversion that changes. So aggressive opportunity and risk aversion. So the manager's objective can be thought of as omega p into IR is minus lambda r into omega p square. So in omega is equal to IR upon 2 lambda, which means that uh, the omega into 2 lambda r is equal to your information ratio, or how we define risk aversion is information ratio divided by omega. If we solve this, it becomes lambda r is equal to information ratio upon 2 omega, or VA value add becomes information ratio upon 4 lambda r, or omega square into or omega into IR into 2, because we already defined lambda r as information ratio upon 2 omega. So this risk aversionness now we have defined in terms of information ratio upon 2 omega. So those are the formula. If you look very closely, what we are looking for here is uh, what's going on with the thing. So if you look at the value add, what manager is adding, it's average residual return minus lambda into variance of that return, which is the variance of the residual. So that is the value added, because it's the risk aversionness which multiplies with omega p. So information ratio, the omega or the optimal risk that you should take is equal to information ratio upon 2 lambda r, or in other words lambda r is equal to information ratio upon 2. Also value added is IR square upon 4 lambda. So those are some formulas that you should write again and again to learn as you might see them again and again.